On March 2nd, 2025, world leaders gathered in London for a critical summit on the ongoing war in Ukraine. The meeting, hosted by UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, took place at the historic Lancaster House. It brought together a diverse group of global players, including Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, French President Emmanuel Macron, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Leaders from other European nations, including Finland, Poland and Germany, were also present, underscoring the summit's importance in addressing the conflict. The summit came at a pivotal moment in the war. Russia's invasion had entered its second year and the conflict had evolved into a grinding war of attrition. Both sides had suffered significant casualties and the human toll of the conflict continued to mount. The summit, therefore, aimed to find a path towards a peaceful resolution. It also sought to address the broader geopolitical implications of the war, particularly the strained relationship between Europe and the United States. The summit's agenda focused on several key objectives. First and foremost was the need to reiterate international support for Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. Second, the leaders aimed to coordinate their efforts to provide humanitarian assistance to the millions of Ukrainians affected by the war. Third, the summit provided a platform for discussing strategies to counter Russian aggression and deter further escalation. The London summit carried immense significance for the future of Ukraine and the wider international order. The presence of so many world leaders demonstrated the global community's commitment to finding a peaceful resolution to the conflict. It also highlighted the importance of international cooperation in addressing shared challenges. However, the summit also underscored the deep divisions that remain between Russia and the West. Bridging these divides would be essential for achieving a lasting peace in Ukraine. At the heart of the summit was a shared commitment to finding a peaceful resolution to the conflict in Ukraine. To this end, the attending leaders agreed on a framework of 4 steps to peace. This framework outlined a roadmap for achieving a lasting and just peace, emphasizing both the immediate needs of the Ukrainian people and the long-term security of the region. The first step focused on providing continued and unwavering aid to Kyiv. This included not just military assistance, but also humanitarian aid and financial support to help Ukraine withstand the ongoing Russian aggression and rebuild its shattered infrastructure. The international community recognized the importance of ensuring Ukraine had the resources to defend itself and to alleviate the suffering of its citizens. The second step emphasized the need to ensure Ukraine's sovereignty and security in any future peace deal. This meant that any negotiated settlement had to respect Ukraine's internationally recognized borders and its right to determine its own future, free from external coercion. Compromising on Ukraine's sovereignty was considered unacceptable. The third step involved continued military support for Ukraine. The summit participants acknowledged that a purely diplomatic solution was unlikely to succeed while Russia continued its aggression. Therefore, they pledged to maintain their military assistance to Ukraine, providing the country with the means to defend itself effectively. This included supplying advanced weaponry, intelligence sharing, and training for Ukrainian forces. Finally, the fourth step proposed the establishment of a coalition of the willing to guarantee Ukrainian peace in the long term. This coalition would comprise countries committed to upholding Ukraine's security and deterring any future aggression. The details of this coalition, including its membership and specific security guarantees, were to be worked out in subsequent negotiations. Amidst the discussions on the broader framework for peace, French President Emmanuel Macron put forward a concrete proposal for a 1-month truce in Ukraine. This truce, according to Macron, would encompass a complete cessation of hostilities, including airstrikes, missile attacks, and ground offensives. It would also include a halt to attacks on critical infrastructure, particularly energy facilities, which had been targeted throughout the conflict, causing widespread suffering among the civilian population. Macron argued that this truce would serve several crucial purposes. First, it would provide a much-needed respite from the violence, allowing for the delivery of humanitarian aid to those in need. Second, it would create a conducive environment for meaningful peace talks to commence. With the guns silent, Negotiators from both sides could engage in dialogue without the pressure of ongoing fighting. Third, Macron believed that a truce could help rebuild trust, albeit gradually, between the warring parties, paving the way for a more sustainable peace. While Macron's proposal received a cautious welcome from some quarters, it also faced skepticism and outright opposition from others. Some leaders argued that a truce would only benefit Russia, allowing it to regroup, resupply its forces, and consolidate its territorial gains. They feared that Moscow would exploit the truce to strengthen its military position and undermine Ukraine's ability to defend itself. Moreover, there were concerns that a truce without a clear path towards a political settlement would simply freeze the conflict in place, leaving Ukraine in a state of limbo and perpetuating the suffering of its people. The lack of trust between the parties was a significant obstacle to implementing a truce, as both sides harbored deep suspicions about the other's intentions. Despite the disagreements and challenges, the London summit achieved a significant outcome. It demonstrated a unified front of international support for Ukraine. Leaders from across the globe stood shoulder to shoulder with Ukrainian President Zelensky, reaffirming their commitment to helping Ukraine defend itself against Russian aggression and rebuild its shattered nation. This display of solidarity sent a powerful message to Moscow that the international community would not tolerate its actions. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, a key figure at the summit, unveiled a comprehensive plan to bolster Europe's security architecture in light of the war in Ukraine. Her plan, dubbed Rearm Europe, called for increased defense spending by European Union member states, aiming to enhance the bloc's military capabilities and reduce its reliance on the United States for security. Von der Leyen argued that the war in Ukraine had exposed the vulnerabilities of Europe's defense posture and the need for the continent to take greater responsibility for its own security. She envisioned a more assertive and militarily capable European Union, capable of deterring aggression and defending its interests in an increasingly uncertain world. Central to von der Leyen's vision was the transformation of Ukraine into a steel porcupine, a heavily fortified and well-armed nation capable of deterring any future Russian aggression. This involved providing Ukraine with advanced weaponry, including air defense systems, long-range missiles, and heavy armor. It also entailed supporting the modernization and expansion of Ukraine's armed forces, turning them into a formidable fighting force capable of defending the country's sovereignty. The London summit, while unable to bring an immediate end to the fighting in Ukraine, marked a crucial step towards a peaceful resolution. The Four Steps to Peace framework provided a roadmap for future negotiations, while the international community's unwavering support for Ukraine sent a clear message to Moscow that its aggression would not be tolerated. However, translating these commitments into concrete actions and overcoming the deep mistrust between the parties remained daunting challenges. The path to peace in Ukraine would be long and arduous, requiring sustained effort, unwavering resolve, and a shared commitment to a just and lasting solution.